What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about something in Norway called Feriepenger. And when I translate this word, it means holiday pay. So, apparently, this is something that you guys do in Norway called holiday pay. Does that mean you guys get paid to go on vacation? Is that possible? I mean, I know Norway is very different from the United States, but I've never heard of anything like this before. And to be honest, I don't really understand what all this means, but that's okay. I have a video here that's going to explain this, Feriepenger. So let's take a look.
Okay, I've been living in Norway for 3 years, and this is by far the most confusing thing that I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
Okay.
So here's my best attempt to explain it, but let's see if we can all just make it out together.
Okay.
So Feriepenger literally translates to holiday pay, but that's not very helpful. So what is it actually? So the idea is that your employer saves between 10 to 12% of the salary that you made last year and then gives it to you the next year as vacation pay.
What? What is this? So if you're in Norway and you have a job, your employer can do this? Is this mandatory, or do you choose to do this? Do all Norwegians do this? I don't know. But your employer is taking 10 to 12% of your money. You don't get 10% of your income. That gets taken by the employer, and then it's given to you next year for your vacation. It's like a forced vacation savings plan, or let's hear more about this.
And it's essentially forced savings because in Norway, you don't get paid a normal salary when you take time off. Feriepenger replaces it.
You don't? Interesting. I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. It sounds like it could be cool. I mean, here in America, I mean, it's so dumb. For a lot of jobs, if you go on vacation, you don't get paid at all. And if you get sick too many times, you don't get paid. In Norway, this is interesting because it's not like they're paying you extra. They're taking your money and saving it, so it's allocated during your vacation to make it seem like you're getting paid, but it's really just part of your yearly income, or I'm still a little confused about this.
Okay, bear with me while we get into the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
So let's say that you have an annual salary of 360,000 kroner. In most places, you would get the same thing every single month. 30,000 kroner 12 times a year, which adds up, of course, to 360,000 kroner.
Okay.
But in Norway, it's different. So you would get that same amount of salary, but June is where it gets confusing. And
June specifically is different, okay?
Of course, remember, this is just like an example of a typical situation, and we'll get into the atypical stuff after this. So in June, you get a payout of your feriepenger. And feriepenger is calculated with different considerations, including how many vacation days you're entitled to, if you're close to retiring, etc., etc. But for the purposes of this example, let's say that you get 25 paid vacation days per year.
What? What? This is insane. In Norway, you can get 25 days of vacation. Is that true? Oh my God. In America, you're lucky to get 10 or 14. You are lucky if you get that. Okay, anyway, let's keep going.
So your feriepenger would be 12% of your salary. So 12% of 360,000 is 43,000.
Okay.
So you get 43,000 in, and then you get your salary. Sweet. But you told...
So it's the Feriepenger on top of the salary. So basically, it feels like you get this huge bonus when June or July or whenever your vacation comes.
Your job that you're taking all of June off because it's Norway, so of course. And
Oh my God. Oh my God. Do people actually do that in Norway? I guess if it's 25 days, you're basically taking an entire month off. I cannot imagine getting to take a month off from work. That would be incredible. Oh my God. In America, we don't have a lot of vacations, and we really spread it out because it's so precious. A day here, a day there. And often in America, your job does not want you to use your vacation days all at once. They want you to spread it out so that you're not gone for too long. In Norway, you're gone for like a month. That is amazing.
that means because holidays are not paid in Norway, they're subtracting 30,000 from your paycheck too. Which means...
Wait, what? Why?
But you told your job that you're taking all of June off because it's Norway, so of course. And that means because holidays are not paid in Norway, they're subtracting 30,000 from your paycheck too.
So you're losing money because of Norwegian holidays where you are not paid?
Which means that your final bank would be 43,000 kroner. Confusing? Yep, but it kind of works out in the end because then you get 30,000 kroner for 11 months.
Okay.
And then 43,000 kroner for the other month.
I'm a little confused. Why are we subtracting 30,000 for the holidays?
That replaced your normal salary, which means that you actually get 373,000 kroner at the end of the year. Okay, so I know it's complicated, but this way the government is basically forcing your employer to create a mandatory piggy bank with your name on it for your vacation. But
yeah, okay, I understand what's going on here. I think I understand why. That's my question. Why do you do this? Why is it so... Like in America, if you're a teacher, you get like 3 months off every year for the summer, and you can choose to have them allocate your salary like for those 3 months so that you feel you're getting paid for those 3 months. But they just take it from the earlier part of the year and pay you with that, the money that they took from the first 9 months. This is very similar to me. In Norway, they take some money and then give it to you for this 1 month that you're off of work so that you feel like you're getting paid. Do you have to do this? It just feels like if you're responsible with your money, like, do they think it's just better for people to have a steady income every month and not miss a month?
But if you are new to Norway, this system can sneak up on you.
Yeah.
So let's say that you started your first job in Norway this year. You do not get Feriepenger because you didn't earn it last year.
Right.
If you did work in Norway last year, you do get Feriepenger because you are entitled to it from your employer.
Okay.
If you quit your job, the employer that you're leaving will pay out your Feriepenger that they've been saving up for you and give it to you with your final salary.
Okay.
So then you need to be careful to save it for when you actually need it. Because if you change jobs, you're starting from zero again at the new job.
Right.
And if you want to take a vacation, but you haven't accrued Feriepenger, you still can take time off, but it will be unpaid, like me in my situation.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, if you start a new job or you quit your job, you're not going to have Feriepenger. Is this a big problem for people? Like, missing 1 month of pay. A lot of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. which is a really terrible place to be. In Norway, are people like living month to month? So is this like very important?
So yeah, it can be a tough system for people who are new to it, but the thing with Norway is that once you're in the system, you are in. And the main takeaway is basically anytime you're switching, moving, or starting
Okay.
fresh, Feriepenger and some other things in Norway can get messy.
I'm just gonna take. All right, that's it. I understand in general what this is and what it does. I do want to look at the 30, this middle part where they subtract 30,000. What was that about?
How many vacation days you're entitled to, if you're close to retiring, etc., etc. But for the purposes of this example, let's say that you get 25 paid vacation days per year. So your feriepenger would be 12% of your salary. So 12% of 360,000 is 43,000. So you get 43,000 in, and then you get your salary. Sweet.
Yeah.
But you told your job that you're taking all of June off because it's Norway, so of course.
Oh, I see. You are not paid when you.
Because holidays are not.
Whoa, what was that? Okay, I gotta. That video just started out of nowhere. Anyway, that lost my train of thought. In Norway, if you go on vacation, if you use your 25 days of vacation, you are not paid. That is why she subtracted 30,000. You normally get 30,000, but not if you go on vacation, if you use your holiday. But you get, in this situation, you get your feriepenger. That's where the 43,000, that's 12% of last year's pay, and it's just this nice way to make sure you have a steady income every year, every month for the year. And this, I understand, this is important in Norway because in Norway, you guys take off of work for a month. So you need a system like this. In America, we take off for 3 days, 4 days. That would be a lot. That would be a lot. To take a vacation for 4 days would be a lot. We don't need a whole system of feriepenger to make sure we're paid for that. We're still working the rest of the month. I see. What an interesting... This is such a fascinating solution to a... It's really a result of how wonderful Norway is with how much vacation you get. You guys get so much vacation, so much time off work, that you have this special system in place to spread out your pay for that month. That's really cool, and it honestly just shows like what an awesome place Norway is, that you have this and need this. I understand. I think I understand. Finally, that's really cool. I had no idea stuff like this even existed, so I quite enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, especially if you're Norwegian. If you understand this, if you get feriepenger, it'd be cool to hear your thoughts on this. It'd be real cool. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and learning about Norwegian culture and seeing Norwegian things I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.